Greetings Internet, DDA here, and RNG has you for the quick summary of the Campfire Chat that just happened. So we're going to go through this super quick. Of course, we're going to talk about the seasonal mechanic. There's a new quest line. The quest line is going to unlock the Celestial construct that follows you everywhere. We kind of already knew that. And the lore is based on an ancient mage society, the Visery, that took machinery and made soldiers into constructs. So we have a returning character from D3 and D Immortal, Zoltan Kuhl, who's actually going to work with the main guide, Ayuzan. They're going to work together to make the constructs, but Zoltan didn't believe in the work, so he left, and then that allowed a low-ranking terror demon to infiltrate the construction of the loom and to take it over and actually possess the largest construct to fight, and it's a stationary boss with unique mechanics. Now, this Seneschal construct that's going to follow you around, it's going to have two main skills that consist of 12 governing stones that are broken up into 4 range, 4 melee, and 4 utility skills that you can add to the construct. There are 27 tuning stones that modify those governing stones, and each governing stone has 3 tuning stones slotted. And you can pretty much mix and match between anything. You can have 2 attacks, 2 range attacks, 2 utility. You can do whatever you want. You find governing stones throughout the world and also throughout the seasonal journey. And then the constructs are going to scale 1-to-1 with your stats. So you're going to see a huge power in the constructs. And hey, you can also give him a pet if you want to tell him he's a good boy. The vaults are a new unique type of dungeon. There's 4 types of dungeons. That's going to be the main push of the seasonal storyline. There's new traps and new puzzles. These traps look super cool. You're going to actually, at the end, you're going to fight a powerful elite for treasure. You're going to have to find the statue of Zoltan and acquire a pearl of warding in the open world or somewhere else during the seasonal content. You give the pearl to the statue, and that gives you a buff called Zoltan's warding. So actually moving through the dungeon, anytime that you get hit by a trap, you get a stack of Zoltan's warding removed. And then when you get to the end of the vault, if you have Zoltan's warding still on you, you can open a special ward-woven chest that have massive rewards. Really cool. I like how they did this because it's giving the traps not only just be one-shot mechanics, but you want to avoid them to get more rewards. Really cool. And you can also earn, so vaults, from what I understand, they're going to be nightmare versions of the vault, and you're going to be able to target farm vault sigils in nightmare dungeons or something like that. There's also an Uber version of Malthus that you're going to be able to face by some unlocking method. Arcane Tremors are the open world mechanic of the seasonal content. They're overworld events, and they're usually at entrances of vaults. You're going to have to look for cores to summon a Malthus lieutenant. Think Blood Harvest and the Blood Sigils and those kind of pillars. And you're going to collect cores and then put them into a brazier to summon a powerful elite. The Gauntlet is the leaderboard, the new leaderboard that's coming. It's going to be World Tier 4 only, starting several weeks into the launch. So the dungeon is going to stay exactly the same week to week, but it is going to change weekly. There's actually going to be a total of 16 ladders, 8 ladders for softcore and 8 ladders for hardcore. Individual ladders for parties, and then individual ladders per class. The goal of the Gauntlet dungeon is to gather proofs of might, so it's not just about speed. You're going to actually need to kill mobs and optimize your pathing. Bosses are going to actually drop shrines, and there are new shrines that are going to drop in the Gauntlet, like a Proving Shrine to summon additional mobs or a Glory Shrine to increase your score. The top 1,000 players are going to be on the board itself, and the board is going to reset every week. However, if you manage to get in the top 10 players, you're going to be into the Hall of Ancients, and that is permanent. The first thing you need to do to get access to the Gauntlet is earn a Seal of Worthy by competing in the Gauntlet, and that should be pretty easy for most endgame builds. Now, quickly going over the class and items changes, because full patch notes for this are going to be out tomorrow, so you're going to get to see everything. They are massively buffing Charge for Barbarian, buffing key passives like Walking Arsenal, and then they're adjusting shouts because they don't like how the shouts all feel mandatory right now. Druids are getting massive buffs to underused spirit boons like Prickle Skin. Rabies is getting another buff. They're just going to keep buffing Rabies until we use it. And then Lightning Storm buffs and getting a new unique that shoots down massive amounts of lightning bolts. Really cool. Rogues are getting buffs to underused skills, mostly range builds. Wind Force, Sky Hunter, and Eagle Horn are getting buffs. The Precision Key passive is getting a buff, and then Caltrops are getting a buff as well. Sorcerer, really cool here. Lightning Spear crits are going to be made vulnerable. Another access to vulnerability, great. There's going to be buffs to Legendary Paragon nodes, and then as well as Meteor buffs across the board, and a unique Meteor Helm that makes Meteor into a cooldown skill, and then buffs to Elemental Summoner in general. The Necromancer has huge Golem buffs. Buffs to Blood and Iron Golem, they're cleaving like, the attacks are cleaving like bone now, and then buffs to Golems and minions in general. Bone Prism is getting a quality of life update that friendly players and minions can move through it. And then Bone Spirit is getting a redesign of Swelling Curse that's giving plus crit and max essence. Really good. There are some nerfs coming as well. Ball Lightning nerfs, Rogue combo point nerfs with Tibalts, Twisting Blades and Poison imbuement interaction nerfs, Blurred Beast for the Druid. They don't like how it's double dipping, so they're probably going to redesign that. Violent Hammer is getting redesigned as well for the Barbarian, and they think that Overpower is just too strong in general, so they're going to tune it down. And then some briefly quality of life changes. Helltides are always on with a 5-minute break. That's great. They're adding WASD controls. They are giving us an additional skill respec mode, and then they're adding higher item scaling in World Tier 4. Great to see that. More Beast, Ice, and Summon drops. You know, those Distilled Fears are really hard to get. And then just to note here that the bosses, Duriel, will remain with some tweaks, and then Abattoir of Zir will not be in Season 3. So that's your quick recap. Really excited for the patch notes tomorrow. Please give a like, and please hit subscribe for all the best Diablo content. And as always, turn your dial to Random Number Gaming for weekly updates for Diablo 4.